Hey gang, how you doing? Today I wanted to give you a quick follow-up to my Blitzwing and Springer reviews. I've had a lot of comments on a couple of different forums and a couple of things that I have done to improve specifically Blitzwing. Now, I do want to state that when I got these figures, they were straight out of the box. I didn't do anything to them. All the problems and all the love that I had for both of them were genuine right off the bat. But I have discovered a few things specifically with Blitzwing and done a few things to Blitzwing that do improve him in his alt modes. There are still a bunch of problems, but we'll get to that. First, we're going to talk about Springer and two things that I didn't do. So, first off, I did not show you how to adequately store things on his back. So both the gun and the sword can easily be stored on his back with no problems. Now, specifically in the directions, they show the sword just being pegged into the back like this. But I actually think it looks pretty cool to put both the gun and the sword on his back like that, so you get this more of a wrecker feel to him with the weaponry being visible on his back. I really like this look. The other thing I did not show you is the sword can actually be attached to the gun. There's a peg hole right underneath the barrels of the gun, and the sword pegs right in. So you have this really kickin' sword-gun combo, or gun-sword. Don't worry, he won't be showing up in Final Fantasy 15 or anything like that, but it's still a very cool little extra bayonet to it, even if it's a little bit on the large side. Now, something that somebody on my YouTube comments asked, is this a Minicon Peg? Sort of. I have a Minicon around here somewhere, but for the life of me, I don't know what I did with him. I was able to fit a Minicon on this peg, though very loosely. It did peg in without any real issue, but it just fell off rather quickly. So yes, you can put a Minicon on this peg. Since I couldn't find the Minicon, I'm going to go ahead and use Blackbird's little dude here. Same peg size hole. He fits on Minicon peg, so yes, that is a working Minicon peg. Actually, that looks pretty cool, I have to admit. That looks pretty awesome. I kind of dig that. I like that. That's all I wanted to show you with Springer. Springer is a great figure. Get him. I'm serious, guys. Pick him up. As soon as he is available, you need to have this guy in your collection. He is freaking awesome. Next up is Blitzwing, and something I wanted to show you guys first off. After playing with him and doing everything that I can, I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on camera, but I don't know if you could see that. This is not rubber. The nose cone is not rubber. It's rubberized plastic, and it's very, very soft, and I am not the only person to have issues with the nose cone. Ben's Collections, a couple of guys on the TFW forums, a couple guys on Cybertron, my fellow reviewer P.A., he has had issues with this. And as you can see, just from transforming it, it is already starting to tear. So the white you see right next to my fingernail and there on the tip, that is damage just from doing the transformation. So what I think I'm going to try and do is take a hobby knife and just shave off these sections that I'm running my fingernails across. Just shave them off a little bit and see if that helps any. It is going to leave some panel gaps, but there's really nothing I could do about that if I want to save the nose cone. Now, the other thing I have discovered is this head is just too big. I mean, it is just too big. I would have liked for them to not have the spinning gimmick and it work better than it does. Maybe I can shave off a little, sand off a little on the back here. I might try to do that. I don't know yet. Since I only have this one figure, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I might, just to see if I can't shave and do a little bit of sanding just to make his head fit a little better here in the chest. The next bit I wanted to show you was an error, complete error on my part. I said that the fists do not swivel. That is inaccurate. There is a swivel right there, and they do swivel. They are just extremely tight. And every time I try to move it, I end up putting pressure on this little flap here, and it pops out of the spot where it's pegged in. Another thing that I had issues with were these pegs on just underneath the fists that are oddly shaped. They're kind of like a triangle and a little square combined. They initially were too big for these peg holes here on the back, where in jet mode I would just have it like resting lightly. So what I did was I took an emery board and some 20 grit sandpaper and lightly shaved down the inside of the peg until it fit. It fits now. And then what I did was I took a little bit of clear coat, Tamiya clear coat, and just coated the sanded bits so it wouldn't degrade anymore. So now it fits, though you do have to kind of angle it in. It will now snugly fit on my figure. Now, a couple of other reviewers have not had that problem, but some folks have had that problem. So that is one way to fix that. The next thing that I had an issue with were the floppy legs not pegging into the body. And I discovered why. Over on TFW 2005, I put pictures up. There were small spikes of plastic inside. You see where my fingernail is? This is the connector port for these pegs in tank mode, and where are the other pegs? These pegs right here in jet mode. These ones for jet mode just snap in. These for tank mode you kind of have to slide in from the bottom. Now there were small, tiny spikes of plastic inside here. So to fix that, what I had to do was take a Dremel and figure out how to get the Dremel up inside there. So what I did was I wrapped a small little Dremel drill with some sandpaper and came in on an angle here and shaved off those plastic spurs that were inside the connector ports. Now the stuff connects. And I will show you that right now. So we're going to do jet mode. So we are going to turn it such that it lines up. And I'm not, it doesn't line up so well on the camera, but do you hear that snap? It now snaps into place. Before, it would snap and pop out instantly. Or it would make a lighter snapping sound and just pop out right away. So now it snaps into place on both sides. So that improves those two tweaks. About, I'd say, an hour's worth of work in very steady hands have improved the jet and tank modes tremendously. The last thing on Blitzwing that we're going to look at is the tank mode. Now, I don't think I adequately described to you how to get the treads out before and to get them out correctly. The first thing you're going to do is just grab the treads and pull them until it slides out a little bit, and then you can slide or wiggle the rest of the tread out. That will allow you to deploy the front of the tread. And then you fold it back up, and what I've found is the best thing to do is just peg it into place as it is. But as you can see, it's not exactly parallel with the top of the tank tread area, or the guard. So what I ended up doing is just slightly pushing it, and now it might slide back, but just kind of push and pull and fiddle with it until you get it parallel. I have found that that actually works worlds better. Or another way you could do it instead of pulling it is just push the wing in until the wing completely disappears in the leg, and then just kind of work with it until the wing is flush up against the leg. And that makes a world of difference. The reason I do that is because now, with the tank tread parallel to the top of the casing, and the adjustment I've made to the inside of the tab hole here, this tabs in to both the back of the robot mode and the inner tread. They tab in snugly and don't flop about. Again, a change in the actual physical part of the figure that I had to do, and just tweaking the transformation a little bit makes a world of difference. The last thing I missed, and honest to God, missed this completely, are the crotch flaps. And yes, I said crotch flaps. This is the crotch of the robot mode. There are these tan flaps that fold out and peg into the inner legs once you pull them out. Completely missed that. Sorry about that, guys. That was completely on me. My fault. Pulling these flaps out does add a little bit of cohesion to the vehicle mode. I do like them with the flaps out. I like that. It looks a little bit better. So those are some tweaks that I have made to the tank mode that make it a lot better and a lot more stable. I still think the tank mode really resembles Titanium Megatron a little bit too much, but it's a better tank mode than what I had to begin with in my review. And because everyone and their uncle asked for it, Gerwalk modes! We've got Blitzwing here with his Gerwalk tank mode, very reminiscent of Metal Gear Solid Moo tanks. If you play Metal Gear Solid 4 or Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, you know what I'm talking about. And then we have Springer Stabber. And so, because you asked for it, here are the silly Gerwalk modes. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time.